What do you know about Viking mythology? Who is Odin and what is his legacy? Viking mythology, rich with tales of gods, giants, and epic battles, is a window into the spiritual and cultural life of the Norse people. Among the pantheon of gods in Norse mythology, Odin stands as one of the most complex and revered figures. He is not merely a god of war and death, but also a deity associated with wisdom, poetry, and the esoteric arts. Let's explore the legacy of Odin in Viking mythology, examining his multifaceted roles, his influence on Norse culture, and the enduring impact of his stories on modern interpretations of mythology. Odin, the All Father, and his many roles. Odin, often referred to as the All Father, occupies a central place in the Norse pantheon. His name is derived from Old Norse roin, which is linked to concepts of fury, inspiration, and ecstasy. This etymology reflects the duality of Odin's nature, both a god of war and a seeker of wisdom. His complex character is illustrated through his various roles and attributes. The god of war. Odin is famously known as a god of war. He presides over Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain, where warriors who die in battle are welcome to fight and feast until Ragnarok, the end of the world. The concept of Valhalla underscores the importance of honor and bravery in Viking society, where dying in battle was considered the most glorious end for a warrior. Odin's role as a war god is also symbolized by his two ravens, Hugin and Munin, who fly across the world to bring him information, keeping him informed of all that happens in the realms of gods and men. The seeker of wisdom. Contrasting with his warlike aspects, Odin is also deeply associated with wisdom and knowledge. His relentless pursuit of wisdom is perhaps best illustrated by the myth in which he sacrifices one of his eyes at Mimir's well in exchange for a drink of its waters, which grant immense knowledge. This sacrifice signifies the value Odin places on wisdom, even at great personal cost. Additionally, Odin is known to have hung himself from the world tree, Yggdrasil, for 9 days and nights to gain the knowledge of the runes, the ancient Norse alphabet that was believed to hold magical properties. Through these stories, Odin embodies the idea that wisdom often requires sacrifice and that true knowledge is worth any price. The patron of poets. Odin's association with poetry and the spoken word further enriches his legacy. He is credited with the creation of the poetic mead, a magical drink that grants the gift of poetry and eloquence. According to the myth, Odin tricked the giant Suttungr to obtain the mead, which he then shared with gods and a select few humans. This myth highlights the Norse belief in the power of words, not just as a means of communication, but as a tool of influence, creativity, and even magic. For the Vikings, poetry was not merely an art form but a way to capture and convey the divine. The god of the dead. Odin's dominion over the dead is another critical aspect of his legacy. Besides Valhalla, Odin also presides over the less-known realm of the dead called Hel. Unlike the glorious afterlife of Valhalla, Hell is a more subdued place where those who die of sickness or old age reside. This dual role emphasizes the Norse understanding of death as multifaceted, with different fates awaiting souls depending on how they lived and died. Odin's connection to the dead also underscores his role as a psychopomp, a guide of souls, further adding to his image as a god deeply intertwined with the cycle of life and death. Odin's influence on Norse culture. The figure of Odin permeates Norse culture in ways that extend beyond religious worship. His influence is evident in the social structures, values, and artistic expressions of the Viking Age. By examining these areas, we can better understand how Odin's legacy shaped the lives and beliefs of the Norse people. Social structures and leadership. Odin was often invoked by Viking chieftains and kings as a divine model of leadership. His attributes as a wise, cunning, and sometimes ruthless leader were qualities that Viking rulers sought to emulate. The idea of the Odinic leader who could guide his people through wisdom and strength was central to Norse governance. This is reflected in the sagas and historical accounts where kings were often depicted as having a special relationship with Odin, receiving his guidance through dreams or visions. The emphasis on wisdom and strategic thinking, as well as the willingness to make sacrifices for the greater good, were qualities that mirrored Odin's character and were highly valued in Norse society. Warrior ethos and the concept of honor. The warrior ethos that dominated Viking culture was closely tied to Odin's influence. The belief in Valhalla as the ultimate reward for fallen warriors reinforced the idea that dying in battle was the most honorable death one could achieve. This belief system encouraged bravery and a relentless fighting spirit among the Vikings. Odin's own reputation as a warrior god who collected the souls of the bravest fighters served as a powerful incentive for warriors to strive for greatness in battle. The stories of Odin riding into battle on his eight-legged horse, Sleipnir, and leading the Valkyries, who selected the worthy dead, further cemented his role as the ultimate war god. Art, literature, and oral traditions. Odin's legacy is also deeply embedded in Norse art, literature, and oral traditions. The Eddas, a collection of Old Norse poems and stories, are rich with references to Odin and his exploits. These texts, which form the backbone of our understanding of Norse mythology, present Odin as a central figure whose actions and decisions shape the fate of gods and men alike. In Viking art, Odin is often depicted with his distinct attributes, his spear Gungnir, his ravens Hugin and Munin, and his one eye are symbolizing his various powers and domains. These depictions served not only as religious symbols but also as cultural icons that conveyed important values and narratives to the Norse people. Odin's legacy in modern times. The legacy of Odin did not fade with the decline of the Viking Age. Instead, it has endured and evolved, influencing literature, popular culture, and even contemporary religious movements. By exploring these modern interpretations, we can see how Odin's mythology continues to resonate in the modern world. Literature and popular culture. Odin's influence is evident in various works of literature and popular culture, particularly in the fantasy genre. Writers like J.R.R. Tolkien and Neil Gaiman have drawn heavily from Norse mythology, with Odin-like figures appearing in their stories. For instance, Tolkien's Gandalf bears many similarities to Odin, from his wisdom and knowledge of ancient lore to his role as a guide and protector. Similarly, Gaiman's American Gods features Mr. Wednesday, a direct representation of Odin in the modern world, navigating a landscape where old gods struggle for relevance against new ones. These adaptations have introduced Odin to new audiences, ensuring that his myths continue to inspire and entertain. Neopaganism and modern worship. In recent decades, there has been a resurgence of interest in Norse mythology within neo-pagan movements, particularly among those who practice asatru, a modern revival of ancient Norse religion. Odin is often venerated as a central deity in this movement, with rituals and practices aimed at connecting with his wisdom, strength, and guidance. This modern worship reflects a desire to reconnect with ancient traditions and to find meaning in the stories and values of the past. For many, Odin represents a source of personal empowerment and a connection to a larger, more profound spiritual heritage. The symbolism of Odin in contemporary society. Beyond religious contexts, Odin has also become a symbol of various cultural and philosophical ideas. His relentless pursuit of knowledge and willingness to sacrifice for wisdom resonates with those who value intellectual curiosity and lifelong learning. In some circles, Odin is seen as a symbol of resistance against modernity, embodying a return to older, more primal values in a rapidly changing world. His image as a complex, multifaceted deity allows him to be interpreted in various ways, making him relevant to diverse groups and individuals. Conclusion. Odin's legacy in Viking mythology is vast and multifaceted, reflecting the complexity of his character and the richness of the culture that worshipped him. As a god of war, wisdom, poetry, and the dead, Odin's influence permeated all aspects of Norse life, from social structures and warrior ethos to art and literature. His stories, preserved through centuries of oral tradition and later written down in the Eddas, continue to inspire and captivate audiences today. In modern times, Odin's legacy has found new life in literature, popular culture, and contemporary religious movements. His myths offer timeless lessons about sacrifice, knowledge, and the human condition, ensuring that Odin remains a powerful and enduring figure in the collective imagination. Whether as a symbol of leadership, a patron of poets, or a seeker of wisdom, Odin's legacy continues to resonate, proving that the stories of the Viking gods are far from forgotten. They are as alive and vibrant today as they were 1,000 years ago. Thanks for listening. Like and comment. And please subscribe, as that will help us get more videos out to those interested in the Middle Ages. See you next time on Medieval Chronicles 1066. Stay curious.